That's not good at all. Let's bring up next. Why not? Why don't you get up here? Why not? Come on up. Hey, why not? Yeah. And for those of you
I've
who
been
haven't looked at the
practicing
stage,
walking for y'all. I
Yeah.
hope you appreciate my practicing walking for you. Look how good I'm doing.
that's
I ran
lovely.
right
That's
over-
delightful.
Well, you know,
By the
in
way,
real
his fly
news.
is open. His fly is on the fix.
Oh no. In real world news, I saw this girl, Paris Gray, a senior at Mundy's Mill High School in Clayton, Georgia, had a really clever yearbook quote. When the going gets tough, just remember to barium, carbon, potassium, thorium, astatine, arsenic, sulfur, uranium, phosphorus. Well, Paris Gray found herself in a lot of trouble because a bunch of people noticed that her cryptic chemistry-themed yearbook quote really meant, if you use the periodic table, the elements, when the going gets tough, back that ass up. And so I thought it was funny, but unfortunately she faced a suspension and missed out on a bunch of her senior class activities because the administration couldn't take the damn joke. Well, the administration gave her an in-school suspension, and she missed a bunch of, she missed the senior walk with everybody else in the class that they had last week. And now there's talk of keeping her. And listen, she is a senior class vice president, member of SAD and the Beta Club, and they're going to keep her from walking at graduation, maybe. She was even supposed to deliver a speech at graduation, but the area superintendent and the school's principal are going to meet about this quote Tuesday to decide what should be done. So here's another fucking time ruined by science. This elderly woman, she went to her doctor's office and she asked to speak with the doctor, and the receptionist asked why. And she goes, "I'd like to have some birth control pills." Well, the doctor thought for a minute and he's like, "Excuse me, Mrs. Glenwood, but you're 80. What would you possibly need birth control pills for?" She goes, "They help me sleep better." The doctor thought and he goes, "Oh, how in the world can they help you sleep?" And the woman goes, "I put in my granddaughter's orange juice and I sleep a lot better at night." There was a trial in a small southern town, and a prosecuting attorney called the first witness. It was this elderly woman to the stand, and he says, "Mrs. Jones, do you know me?" She goes, "Why, yes, I do know you, Mr. Williams. I've known you since you're a young boy, and frankly, you've been a big disappointment to me. You lie, you cheat. You cheat on your wife. You manipulate people. You talk about them behind their backs. You think you're a big shot when you haven't the brains to realize you'll never amount to anything more than a 2-bit paper pusher. Yeah, I know you." Well, the lawyer's stunned. He didn't know what to do, so he pointed across the room to somebody else, and he goes, "Do you know the defense attorney?" She goes, "Well, yes, I do. I've known Mr. Bradley since he's a youngster, too. He's a lazy son of a bitch, a bigoted, drinking problem. He can't build a normal relationship with anybody. His law practice is one of the worst in the entire state, not to mention he cheated on his wife with 3 different women. One of them was your wife. Yeah, I know him." The defense attorney practically croaked. The judge asked the counselors both to approach the bench. And in a really quiet voice, he goes, "For you idiots, ask her if she knows me. I'm going to send you both to the electric chair." 3 men died on Christmas Eve. They were met by St. Peter at the pearly gates. In honor of this holy season, St. Peter says, you got to possess something that symbolizes Christmas in order to get into heaven. So the first man fumbled through his pockets, and he pulls out a lighter, and he flicks it. He goes, "This represents the candle." "All right, you may pass through the gates," St. Peter goes. Well, the second guy reached in his pocket. He pulls out a set of keys. He shook them, and he goes, "They're bells." And St. Peter goes, "All right, you can pass through the pearly gates." So the third guy starts searching desperately, and he finally pulls out a pair of women's panties. And St. Peter's looking at him with a raised eyebrow, and he goes, "And just exactly what do these symbolize?" And the guy goes, "Well, these are carols." The sweet little girl's out in her back garden digging a big, deep hole, and the neighbor looks over and says, why are you digging this big hole? And the girl goes, my goldfish died. She sobbed. Oh, I'm so sorry to hear that, the neighbor said, but why are you making such a big hole for this little goldfish? The little girl gives him a really evil look and goes, 'cause since died your fucking cat. This is from my brother DJ. This guy comes home and this really big-breasted woman opens the door. He can't even believe it. It's his wife. And he goes, wow, man, what happened, honey? And she told him she found this magic mirror. She stood in front of it, and she goes, mirror, mirror on the door, make my boobs size 44, and poof, they blew up. He's like, wow, that's so cool. So later his wife goes out, and he goes to the mirror, and he goes, mirror, mirror on the door, make my dick touch the floor. Poof! And his legs disappeared. These two guys came, they were out hiking. And they came across this old abandoned mine shaft, and they were real curious about how deep it was, so they threw a pebble in it, and they waited for the sound striking the bottom, but they didn't hear anything. So they got this bigger rock, they threw it in, nothing yet. They searched for something larger, and they found this railroad tie. So they both hoisted it, and they carried it to the opening, they threw it in, and they waited, and all of a sudden this goat darted between them and leaped in the hole. And they were standing there with looking like, wow, that was so weird, you know. And this guy walks up, and he asked them if they'd seen a goat anywhere in the area, and they said, well, one just jumped in the mine shaft in front of them. And the guy's like, nah, that can't be my goat. Mine was tied to a railroad tie. A couple of young fellers are fishing at their special pond off the beaten track, and this a game warden comes up. Immediately, one of the boys throws his rod. He starts running through the woods. Hot on the heels is the game warden. About a half mile, the fellow stops and stoops over with his hands on his thighs to catch his breath. The game warden catches up and he goes, let's see your fishing license, boy. And the boy pulls out his wallet, gives him the valid fishing license. He goes, well, what? You must be about as dumb as a box of rocks. You don't even have to run from me. You got a valid license. And the kid goes, well, yes, sir, but my friend back there, he don't have one. I don't know how many minutes I got, so I'm going to do my religious things here. I'm going to finish up. I am a Taoist. I realized that when I read the Tao of Pooh, and Taoists believe shit happens. Zen Buddhism believe what is the sound of shit happening. Let shit happen to someone else. Protestantism. Atheists believe shit happens for no apparent reason. Hare Krishna believes shit happens, shit happens, shit happens. And Confucianists say shit happens. Hinduism's this shit happened before. Catholicism, this shit happens. If it does, you deserve it. And agnostics believe facts happen. Ta-da!
All right. Bravo. Way to go.